What is up, guys? Jackson here with Toasty DIY, and today we got an awesome gaming mouse to show you all. This is the ATK F1 Ultra Max from ATK, and this thing is pretty freaking sick for the money that you're spending. Let's go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and get the main things out of the way. How much does the F1 Ultra Max cost? It is $70 at the time of filming this video, and this is one of those mice that if you look on Amazon and some other places will often go on sale. And what's crazy about this mouse is I like to compare it to some of the name brands out there like Logitech and Razer. It's an 8K polling rate mouse, and what that means is that's some of the fastest response time for a wireless mouse you can find. It's basically equivalent or sometimes faster than a wired mouse, which are typically 1K hertz polling. Now, I personally use an 8K polling rate Logitech mouse at home, and I paid $250 for it. I use the super light Dex 2, all these different words and numbers and letters that don't mean much to me, but I paid like close to 250 bucks for it. And this mouse right here has pretty much all of the same specs as that mouse. It's obviously gonna have a little bit of a different feel, but at the end of the day, we're gonna go over some really good specs in this $70 gaming mouse, and then we're gonna try it out in gaming. So the exact model of this mouse is the ATK Blazing Sky F1 V2 wireless esports mouse. This specific one is the Ultra Max. I believe it's the Ultra Max 2.0, but I will say the box doesn't exactly say that. Now, this mouse is lightweight, but I will say for lightweight, it's slightly on the heavier side. It's actually 54 grams plus or minus 2 grams. And I would say that that's like a pretty traditional lightweight. I wouldn't call it ultra lightweight, because ultra lightweight's usually when you're approaching the 40s or even 30s in grams. So this is definitely closer to just like a traditional lightweight, where if you don't want it to be too light and cheap feeling, I think the 50s is a really good sweet spot. The battery capacity is 800 milliamp hours, so you're gonna get a good amount of time with this mouse. I would guess, just based on it not really having any lighting or anything, you should be able to get close to 100 hours of game time with it. The specific color we have here is black, but you can also get this exact model in white as well. And if you look at some of their other mice from ATK, they do actually have quite a few different colors you can get other than black and white as well. The dimensions are 118.2 millimeters in length, 62.4 millimeters in width, and 38.8 millimeters of max height. Now, just like mini mice, the polling rate is adjustable. You can go as low as 125 hertz all the way up to 8K hertz. I will say most people, unless you're a professional, you're really good at that sweet spot of about 1 to 4K hertz because you get longer battery life that way. But if you really want to turn it up a few notches, it does have an 8K hertz polling rate as well as the dongle that can handle that. So you're going to get less battery life, and if you don't have a really good PC, you may have some problems with that. So you can always try to find your sweet spot for polling rate. Now, this mouse has the pretty high-end Nordic 54 MCU across pretty much all of their models, and the coating of the mouse is what they call new nano coating with multiple color options for different vibes. So first impressions of the mouse is that it feels really good. I mean, I have to admit, this is definitely my preferred mouse shape. It's probably on like the small to medium size, I would say, especially for it being 54 grams. You can kind of see how it fits in my hand. So this mouse, I would definitely say for the most part, is ambidextrous. I mean, it has a slight ergo feel to it because of those buttons being on the right side, and obviously if you're left-handed, you're not really gonna be able to press those very easily. So I would say it definitely favors right hand, but if you look, it doesn't really appear to have much shape to the right or left. I know that like my Dex at home, you can definitely see where it kind of has like a slant over to the left side. This one appears to be pretty symmetrical. So that's a pretty cool selling point for a lot of people, is having a more ambidextrous style mouse where it's definitely not ergo to right-handed people. Scroll wheel feels pretty good. It's pretty quiet. It's pretty smooth with, you know, I would say some good feedback to it. The click is very nice. And I will say the click, a little bit audible, but it's a good sounding click. It's not super high pitch. Now the buttons themselves, the switches sound pretty even. They're pretty audible, they're pretty loud. It's definitely not like a quiet switch, but they sound good. They sound pretty healthy and everything. I will say that the Teflon feet, this is definitely my preferred style. It reminds me of like the Logitech style mice. Really good glide to it. It definitely slides around pretty good. And the USB-C is definitely an added bonus, which honestly should be a requirement for any really electronic at this point, is that it's USB-C and not like micro or something like that. It has a little DPI switch in the bottom, so you can't accidentally change your DPI with that top button. I am not a fan of the top DPI buttons on mice, which a lot of my old Logitech ones have had that. I think it's ridiculous because most people don't change their DPI on the fly, and it drives you nuts when you're gaming and you accidentally press that button. Next thing you know, your aim's all over the place. So I definitely like the DPI in the back. I'll also say in the back you can switch between your 2.4 gigahertz dongle or Bluetooth. Now Bluetooth's probably going to be locked to 1K or less polling rate. That's almost always how Bluetooth works. While the wireless dongle, when it's plugged in properly, will get us up to 8K. Now typically, the reason why the dongle looks like this is you have like a combo here. So how this normally works is this right here is like a little tiny transcoder, a little module if you will, and to get the true 8K, typically you're gonna need to plug in your wireless dongle to this and then this into your PC. I'm not saying that's guaranteed for this mouse, but that's normally how it works. And if you just plug this straight into your PC, you may be limited to 1K or even 4K polling rate, which is how I like to play personally, but because I favor battery life with maybe a little less performance over having that 8K polling rate, but that's just me. So guys, we've looked at everything that comes with the mouse. We've talked about the specs, we've talked about the feel and the looks of it and everything, but now the true test, because so far, physically, I like the mouse, but how does it game? I'm gonna take it home with me and have a full night gaming session to really prove if it's a good mouse or maybe a deal that you should miss. All right, so we are back at the house and we're kind of on my normal gaming setup, the one that I game on every single night. So I know how everything feels and I'm used to it and comfortable with it. Right now, we're just checking out the Valorant practice range. So here we have my usual mouse, which is the Logitech Pro X Superlight 2 Dex. I literally have to read that because it is such a long name and I forget what it even is called, but it's I think the newest one in their line. And right now it's 150 bucks. MSRP apparently is 179. So I don't think I quite paid 200 for it. I over exaggerated. And next to my Logitech mouse, this mouse is pretty small. They weigh pretty similarly. This one is 60 grams. So this mouse right here is just a little bit less. I will say weirdly enough, they don't feel like they weigh any different to me. This one just feels smaller. And this one apparently is much closer to a Razer Viper Mini, which is a really loved mouse. It's very loved in like the esports community because that's kind of what they call it, is a small to medium hand esports molded mouse. And the coating feels really nice, by the way. I really do like that coating. I think I might like it better than my Logitech because the Logitech's a good amount more glossy. This one's more of a matte black, which I think looks cleaner, but you know what? Let's go into the practice range. All right, we're gonna try out our 8K polling rate on this bad boy first. All right, I'm letting the ATK charge because I think I've already ran it dead. I didn't charge it when I got it, which really you probably should do when you get a fresh mouse. They're never gonna come like usually half or a quarter charge and they've been sitting for a while. So I'm using the Logitech now. You know, it's the mouse that I'm used to. I've been using it for the last year now. And before that, I used a Logitech G703. That's what I use at the office still, as well as the G703. I definitely don't love the G703 anymore. I like the Dex a lot more, and like the super light mice in general. Well, as I said earlier, the semi-lightweight mice. And I kind of like them a little more in the medium side. I gotta say that the small grip on that, I'm not used to it, but I like the feeling of it. Like it feels like a good mouse, and I definitely don't have any complaints. It's just, you know, not my go-to preference. All right, we got some charge now on the ATK, and yeah, it feels a lot better now. I was starting to get a little bit of like that. If you ever had a wireless mouse that's like in the verge of dying, you felt it before, where the mouse starts to kind of cut in and out, and I was like, uh-oh. I did also move the sensor a little bit closer because whenever you are using one of those dongles that plugs into a USB, you know, to run 8K polling rate, you really want to run it as close to the mouse as you can, which to me, a little bit goofy, but they say that that's how you get like the maximum performance with the least amount of latency and, you know, the least amount of lag and stuff like that. So I got it next to me here, and I will say, incredibly smooth. It feels really good. I mean, it's hard to really say anything bad about it. It's a very high-end mouse for not a high-end price. As I wish the advertising was a little better, but that kind of is part of the, I guess you could say, straight from China mouse experience. You save a lot of money because you're not paying for like the name brand like Razer or Logitech, and you're getting very equivalent equipment, but you are going to get a little bit less product support, probably less software support if that's something you're into. And I would just say in general, less instructions and less stuff that really like just pops out and makes sense right away. So I will say, in terms of like figuring stuff out. I'm pretty confident it has a PAW 3395 sensor, which is a little bit of an older sensor, came out like 2022. It's still one of the most popular sensors, but the 3950 has since kind of replaced it. It's a little bit nicer, has less liftoff distance. It can go up to like 30K DPI. It helps increase battery life. So I do know that the other versions of this mouse, the higher end versions, do come with the newer 3950 sensor. So the Ultra Max 2.0, what are my thoughts and takes on it? I like this mouse a lot. I think for the $70 price point or less if you find it on sale, I think it is an amazing mouse. I don't think it gets much better at this price point. I do think that if you spend a little bit more and get the nicer sensor, that could be worth it. So if you get the Ultimate 2.0 or the Extreme 2.0, those both actually, I believe, weigh less and come with the newer PAW sensor. So that could be something that interests you, but you are going to be paying an extra 30 to, an extra 20 to an extra almost double, $135 for the Extreme 2.0. But I mean, they got some good selling points to them, and I will say in terms of like being the best in the market, I know the Extreme 2.0 is pretty close to one of the best mice you can get on the market. But yeah, I want to know what you guys think down below. What do you think about ATK? Have you heard of them before? And do you think that they're going to keep growing as a mouse company? Because so far they're doing pretty darn good, and it seems like they're starting to keep up with some of the other larger names that you recently didn't hear about, but now they're starting to become kind of mainstream with the esports gamers. So anyways, see you guys in the next one. Peace out.